All right, hey guys, welcome back to another Wolf Past Echoes. This is session 14. In the prior, we discovered that there's a hidden vault beneath our home village of Ashward, and we discovered this after two Ember cult members, I believe, tried to surprise attack Wolf while he was about to go to bed. So we're currently in Wolf's inn. And let's continue. Okay, let's begin session 14. And we've also removed the stress that we took. And fate has been refreshed at 3. All right, session 14 begins now. You are inside your rented room at the Hollow Ember Inn, late at night after the failed ambush and recent revelations. The innkeeper and several patrons remain outside in a mix of fear and confusion as Jory quietly tends to the unconscious attacker. What would you like to do? I will help up the first striker by extending my arm if he accepts to help him back up. Show some, civility. The attacker hesitates but accepts your arm, slowly rising with a grunt, eyes lowered in reluctant respect. I do ask him, who really sent you here? He's like, I'm sorry. He replies quietly that they were sent by a remnant cell of the old archive. Those who believe Ashward's return will awaken something buried deeper than the bloodline. Okay. Does Jory have anything to say? Jerry. Yeah, Jerry Seinfeld enters the room. What's the deal with these hooded figures? Jory says that if these cells still exist and fear what lies beneath Ashward, then what you've inherited may be more than just a name. It may be a key. All right. And while we were conversing, what does the innkeeper and patrons do or say? The innkeeper still tense says that they'll allow you to stay the night, but no more noble business, while the patrons whisper among themselves and being cleared out. Okay. I do want to catch the name of the first striker who attacked before he is kicked out or asked to leave. He pauses at the doorway, then says his name is Callan, and that if you truly seek the vault beneath Ashward, you won't find it without being watched. Can you list the names of characters we've encountered so far with the archives? I think it's Vahessa or Vanessa, Valessa, Ember Archive agent who claimed the scroll and negotiated access to the archives of Wholf. Callan, unnamed second attacker, defeated unconscious, possibly tied to the same group as Callan. Callan almost forgets to take his friend, the second attacker, who Jory is trying to help up. Callan turns back, nods at Jory with a muttered thanks, and helps lift the second attacker, carrying him out into the night without another word. Wolf tells Jory that it's typically, actually, I have a joke here. So basically, Wolf tells Jory he expected this to turn bloody, but it seems they were expecting some kind of resilience. Jory nods and says they were testing more than your blade. They wanted to see if Ashford still had a will of its own. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so let's time skip to the morning. All right, so we're going to do a little jump here in the morning and see. This is the first day of the two upon meeting with Valessa. Morning arrives quietly with filtered sunlight, the window, and no disturbances as the innkeeper leaves a modest breakfast tray outside each room. All right. So we will have breakfast. We'll meet with Jory and depart the inn. Dory, you and Jory meet over breakfast, exchange a few quiet words, and leave the Hollow Ember Inn, stepping back into the calm streets of Haldrit's Ring. Okay. So what are some possible tasks that we should complete before the next day's meeting at the archives? Let's see what we can do. You could investigate local records about Ashward's fall, search Hound's market for tools or relics tied to the ruins, seek out sage or informant with archive knowledge. Oh, seek out a sage or informant with archive knowledge. That would be interesting. Probably track if anyone else is watching you. Okay, I'm leaning towards the last two. I'm leaning to the last two options. Let's first see if anyone is tracking us, which is most likely. Roll required? All right. So it'll be a notice roll, overcome difficulty +2 to check if being followed or watched in the city. So let's get our dice out. Notice will be, I will use actually no invokes right now. Notice is our +2, and we're rolling now with a 4 total. Total of 4. With a total of 4, you succeed in spotting a cloaked figure trailing you at a distance, carefully keeping in the alley shadows but clearly focused on you. Huh. All right, so I tap or nudge Jory, whispering of another tale, someone I can spotted in the shadows behind us. Tap or nudge. I don't think it should be a archive member this time. Let's say it's actually a competing faction of sorts. Jory glances subtly, nods once, and suggests splitting briefly at the next corner to see if they follow just you or both. Before we do that, let's say, story hack, that this is actually a different faction, possibly a hostile one, a counterpart or a rival of the archives. Let's throw in a wrench here and see if we can create a challenge, some chaos. Story hack accepted. The figure tailing you belongs to the rival faction separate from the archives, known for intervening when forbidden knowledge surfaces. Okay, so everyone's after this scroll. Jory and I will split at the next corner. Who does this cloaked figure follow? I'm guessing me, Wolf. The figure chooses to follow you, keeping a steady distance as Jory fades down to the opposite street. Oh, okay, so now we're separate. Well, what will Wolf do here? We have the hire of Ashward, the hair of Ashward, bound by Ash expectations. Hmm, this could be intriguing. Can you compel my trouble, bound by Ash and expectation, for Wolf not to run away from a potential conflict, but to face his past? Compel accept that you gain 1 fate point, so Wolf decides not to evade, but instead turns to confront the figure directly. All right. Now, per the story, Wolf is assuming this is another archive member, But who is it really? How do they reveal themselves? Secretively or friendly? Or not friend, sorry, tongue twister. Secretively or, well, let's say, open. The figure steps from the shadows and reveals themselves openly as a masked agent of the Ashen Vial. Ashen Veil? A secret group that opposes both the archives and the court, claiming your actions have upset ancient balances. Wolf takes out his daggers, not afraid for a morning run with death, as he says, and expected another archives member, but says this will be interesting. Everybody wants this relic I wield. The mass agent nods calmly and says, "It's not the relic, Ashford. It's what your blood might awaken beneath it," drawing a curved blade in response. Oh, okay. Now, where is Jory during all of this? Let's see what he's up to. Jory is one street over, unaware of the confrontation, but nearby enough to hear a faint fighter call. Let's say that Jory does look back and does not see the hooded figure following him, prompting him to turn around and find Wholf. That would make sense. Jory is he's their plan is to split up, and whoever is being followed by the figure would most likely encounter them, and the one who is not would have to turn back around. Joy notices the absence, grows suspicious, and quickly doubles back toward Wolf's last direction, moving quietly but with urgency. Okay. Before an encounter can ensue, let's say, oops, that's way wrong. Okay, so before an encounter can start, let's say a city guard steps into the scene or notices a strange potential fight about to break out. I'd say that's more appropriate. A city guard rounds the corner, pauses, hand on a weapon, eyeing both of you and the masked figure with a stern warning. Whatever this is, take it off the street or take it to the court. Interesting. Jory then enters the scene, possibly with the staff at ready. Does he see the city guard? Arrives with his staff raised but lowers it slightly when he sees the guard, giving you a questioning glance while keeping watch on the masked figure. Okay, so the masked figure does not or is not aware of Jory from behind, meaning we have an advantage in case this goes south. Let's do an ATM. ATM revealed. Unseen ally behind, evoke for free. Crowd beginning to form. Pressure from the guard's presence. I don't want to cause a stir with the guard. Wolf does not want to cause a stir with the guard. However, the masked figure doesn't seem bothered and continues his potential encounter. All right, so I'm kind of pushing us towards the guard. The masked figure keeps their blade lowered, but eyes fixed on you, ignoring the guard's warning and saying, "You've already drawn attention, Ashford. This will only deepen the shadow." Wolf tells the guard, "This man's been tailing me from the inn." From the end. Whoops. Wolf tells the guard this man. The guard frowns, steps forward, and says to the masked figure, "You're not court marked. State your name and intent, or I'll escort you to the watchtower." Jory seems to smirk. Jory smirks and mutters, guess someone else is carrying the burden this time, keeping his staff lowered but ready. Wholf observes, ready for a potential conflict, but also protective of the guard, not wanting any innocent bloodshed. That's a trait from Edwin himself. The masked figure slowly sheaths their blade and says, "Well, very well, for now," then vanishes into nearby alley with a fighting glance back at Wholf. The guard is not done yet, as he approaches Wholf and questions what was about to occur. The guard steps close and asks firmly, "Who was that? And why did they seem ready to draw steel over a quiet morning?" I do not detail everything to the guard, but only who I am by name, and that they might have been wanting to mug us. I let the word us slip, prompting the guard to look around, asking who else is with you. The guard glances around, spots Jory nearby, raising an eyebrow and asking, "Your companion? He part of this too, or just late to the scene?" Ha, some fourth wall there. Jory sighs, was hoping to remain out of this, but eventually, eventually my typing will work. Was hoping to remain out of this, but eventually walks up to the guard and explains he was a witness to this masked figure attempting to mug his friend. The guard nods slowly, clearly skeptical but not pressing further, and then says, "Watch yourselves. Ember watch is tense lately, and blades and alleys only tighten it." Let's see. Wholf does ask the guard, "Who was that man?" I think we do know. I'm just curious if the guard knows. Shakes his head and says, "Didn't recognize him, but the mask wasn't court standard. Probably Ashenvale or worse." Wholf says he has heard the name. Oh, whoops. Wholf says he had heard of this name. Who are they exactly? All right. The guard replies to the Ashen Veil is a hidden faction that opposes both court and archive, believing forbidden bloodlines and relics should stay buried. Hmm. So you've had a run-in with them before, or have they been known to cause trouble in these streets? The guard nods and says they've stirred unrest before, quiet threats, missing scholars, and relics vanishing, but never openly like this. This could be an interesting avenue to pursue, not only literally, but figuratively, because as I see it, if we can get some brownie points for the guards by helping them within this 2 day span, if even possible, then that might give us some more protection or some respect, some street cred for the name Ashword. Wolf, Wolf has a grand idea and is hoping that Jory catches on. Wolf tells the guard if he can speak to the captain about this and may be able to help if they are truly causing a problem for the city. The guard considers, then nods and says, "I'll send word. If you're serious, meet Captain Thorne at the West Barracks by sundown." Okay, so the guard dispatches, or departs, and what does Jory think of this? Gosh, it doesn't really get my text that well. Jory raises an eyebrow and says, "Bold move. If we can get the captain's trust, that could help or drag us deeper into all this." Wolf explains not only is he here to uncover his family's past, but if he is able to redeem the Ashword name, then this may help, no matter how small. Here we go. Bernardson says, then we speak to the captain, but let's not give them more than they need until we know who's listening. Wolf agrees and says that perhaps we should head to the main market, see if we can buy some goods, perhaps weapons, armor. I have a feeling that the eventual encounter with the Veil will not go easy, will not go easy for us. Wolf of Grace, Wolf of Grace. Joy agrees, and they both head toward the main market square to browse for supplies and gear in preparation for what may come. Okay. Are there any blacksmiths or vendors selling weapons? Yes, you spot a well-stocked blacksmith's stall near the center of the market with blades, bows, and light armor on display. Ooh, okay. Now, in Fate, since currency or gold pieces is not tracked, based on everything that has transpired, how well off do you think Wolf is? How much could he spend here as a drifter, former drifter? As a former drifter now recognized as the Ashford Hare, Wolf likely has a modest coin from early travels and can afford basic gear, one quality item, or minor repairs, but not luxury arms or enchantments without favor or trade. Ooh, okay. Is Jory going to is Jory going to accompany us, or is he going to explore, shop around the other vendors? Jory decides to browse nearby stalls for scrolls and drinks, but stays within sight in case trouble arises. Okay, that's fine. I speak to the blacksmith and inquire about what weapons he has, explaining that I typically don't wield anything of great size, but looking for something that is good for stealth and not just a blade. Blacksmith nods and then shows you a short-handled throwing axe, a wrist-mounted dart launcher, and a pair of compact weighted chains for entangling and disarming. Ooh, the dart launcher sounds very intriguing. How much is it? I ask him. Blacksmith's dart launcher is rare but not enchanted. He offers it for 8 silver, including a set of 6 darts. Okay. Dart launcher. I will purchase this dart launcher. How does it translate into a stunt for record? Record as a stunt. Wrist dart launcher. Once per scene, you may use shoot to create an advantage or make a surprise attack. All right, so um, we have four. Now I think in the rules, let's see, actually. I have currently 4 fate points. Would this technically cost a fate point to add to my stunts because we have 3 permanent stunts plus the temporary stunt of the scroll? So this will technically be our 5th stunt. Fat points. Yes, because this becomes your 5th active stunt. If you reduce your fate fresh by 1, the costing a fate point at the session start, you now begin with 2 for refresh unless you retire another stunt or reclassify one as temporary. Hmm. Well, Hunter's Patience, that's pretty significant. Dancer in close quarters, Reality Slip. I haven't used Reality Slip yet. Haven't had a chance to. I've used the first two. Let's remove, you know what? Let's remove reality slip. Yeah, look at that one. Okay, and I'll add this new stunt called, what was it, wrist dart launcher. Let's see, wrist dart launcher. Okay, once per scene, and that's it. Okay, I removed, whoops, I removed the scroll by mistake. Let's see, Ash scroll temp. There we go. And then reality slip, we're going to remove that. Oh my gosh, it does not work. I see what's happening here. So I had the recycling bin. It trashes the very last one. So let's do Ash word scroll temp. That's better. Okay, save that. There we go. No, now it's messed up even more. There we go. A little finicky, but I got it. So we reduced the fate point. Okay. I then asked the vendor if he has any recommendations for vendors who sell armor. Blacksmith Knives points toward a tannery near the southern edge of the market where a vendor specializes in lightweight armor suitable for travelers and scouts. I pay him and thank him. Then I will try to look for Jory, not a jewelry vendor. This isn't Macy's. I pay him, thank him, then I try to look for Jory. All right. You pay the blacksmith, head toward the nearby stall, spotting Jory examining a table with carved pendants while chatting quietly with the merchant. Jory sees me and nods as he continues trying to negotiate with the merchant. What pendant is Jory attempting to buy? Jory is eyeing a small obsidian pendant etched with an unfamiliar sigil that the merchant claims wards off illusion tricks of the shadow realm. The shadow. Huh. Okay. Interesting. The shadow realm. Wolf can't resist talking about a shadow realm. Do you want to compel one of my aspects, maybe touched by forgotten realms? Yes, compel, except you gain one fate point. Touched by draws you into the moment, pushing Wolf to question the merchant intensely about the pendant's origins. Wolf asks, when you say Shadow Realm, do you mean one specific to this area? The merchant leans in and says softly, the pendant symbol comes from the ruins beneath Haldra's Ring, said to touch a place where time folds and memory echoes, a realm filled by old archive scribes. Jory bumps Wolf's leg with his staff, shaking his head not to pursue this any further. Jody. Jody Foster. Wolf glanced at Jory. He gives him a subtle shake of the head, signaling to let it go for now, while the merchant continues arranging their wares. Ah, okay. This looks like it's a opposing roll. What should I roll? Will? Yes, roll. Will resist compel influence. Jory's silent warning. Difficulty fair +2. All right. Oh, we'll get our dice here. Will is +3, so it's not pretty good. All right, 4. Good. I got a 4 total. Excellent. All right. With a total of 4, you resist the pull and hold your curiosity in check, nodding to Jory and stepping back from the merchant's staff. Jory attempts to excuse his friend's imagination. Does he end up buying the pennant or decides to pass for now? Jory chuckles awkwardly, makes a polite excuse, and decides to pass on the pennant for now, leading you both away from the stall. Jory attempts to tell Wholf to maintain the secrecy of the Dark Realms until we meet the archives. Now Wholf is like a child. Look, mister, you better behave or you're grounded. Jory quietly says the fewer who know about the Dark Realms, the better. Let the archives speak first before revealing more. Wholf nods in agreement until there is a loud bang heard south of the market. People start to scatter, confusing everybody. What just transpired? Story hack or story act. Sorry, a small explosion erupts near the southern market gate, scattering crates and smoke, and a cloaked figure flees the scene while city guards rush from all sides. Whoa. Okay. Let let's say the captain is with the guards as they're chasing someone away. This explosion, can Jory tell if it was magical? Let's see. This explosion, can Jory tell if it's magical? Joy squints through the smoke and nods, and the same explosion carrying traces of chaotic energy like unsignaled magic, not alchemy. Can Wolf do a notice roll to try to spot the individual responsible that is running away from the guards? Notice roll. I don't miss. I'm going to invoke. I don't miss anything, so I'll just -1 point. Fate point. Won't have to tell the AI, Crutch AI. Yes, roll notice overcoming difficulty +3 to spot the fleeing figure. Okay, so look at our dice. We're doing +2 with that. I don't miss a thing. And then notice of +2, so that's going to be 4 total. Okay, well, we got 4. A total of 4. With a total of 4, you succeed and spot the fleeing figure clearly, a tall, hooded runner with a metallic gauntlet on their left arm, darting through the side alley. Wolf and Jory also spot a large member of the guard who is dressed rather official, both recognizing that's the captain. Wolf, Wolf Injury also spots. You know what? That's going to be. Let's edit that. Wolf and Jory. I don't want to get injured already. There we go. It probably would have been fine, but just to be safe. You both recognize the armored figure shouting as the Captain Thorn, unmistakable in his crimson-plated armor and the sigil of Halterus ring on his cloak. Okay. Ironically, the same guard we were speaking to earlier passes us, then notices us. What does he say to us? The guard shouts over his shoulder, "You two again. If you're still offering help, follow me." Okay, before sprinting after following. All right. Jory and I will obviously follow the guard running after the criminal, if he is a criminal. You and Jory break into a run behind the guard, waving through smoke and scattered market stalls as the chase winds into the city's narrow alleys. Where do we end up as we follow? we're not in the lead per se. You follow the guard through twisting back alleys and end up near the edge of the lower city wall, where the fleeing figure disappears into a crumbling drainage tunnel. Oh, great. Now we're going to the sewers. Okay. So we remain behind the guards as they formulate a plan to circle the any sewage entrance throughout this side of the city. The guard who was with us explains to the captain who we are and how we can help. Captain Thorne glances at you both and says, "If you're Ashford and Archive linked, then you're ready. Then you're in this already. Watch the tunnel with us. We'll flush him out." Okay. Um, you know what? Let's say that Jory has some interesting knowledge about the tunnels regarding cities just like this, but make it somehow relevant or why he would know such a thing. I mean, the city guard must most likely knows the sewage, the tunnels beneath. Joy quietly explains that his mentor once served as a city engineer in a southern province. He learned that how older cities like Hedrith often hide secondary exits beneath market wells and shrine basements. Huh. Okay. Wolf questions, are you saying that you might know another way in? Or another way this guy would have another way out? Sorry, that was terrible. Wolf questions Jory, saying, does this mean there's another way out of the sewers that the guards are not considering? Since if they don't block the old drainage vaults beneath the east shrine, they'll slip right past them unnoticed. Wolf tells the captain about this revelation or potential setback. Captain Thor curses under his breath, immediately signals two guards to break off and head toward the east shrine while ordering the rest to hold position. Let's say the captain gives us instructions, seeing that we could be of aid. Could be of aid. Captain Thorne says, if you're serious, head to the east shrine, cut him off, and confirm me if he passed through there. We'll meet you after. All right. Huh. I have an idea, but I think I'm going to save it for later. It's basically tentacles. So basically, I think this individual is a magic user, obviously, but he's going to spawn something here or a trap. Let's say before we depart, the individual who's fleeing is most likely a magic user and left a trap that was just triggered by an unknowing guard searching through the sewage entrance. A sudden magical burst of flares from the tunnel entrance, knocking back a guard with searing light, clearly a warp trap, confirming the fugitive is a magic user. And also have the captain say something that is kind of like a slang term for magic users in the city. Slang term. Actually, that works too. Captain Thorne growls, damn spark fingers always leave a mess behind as he pulls the injured guard back from the tunnel. Oh, huh. Wolf tells Jory, can he disarm this trap while myself and the guards head to the East Shrine to counter? Okay, there we go. Jory nods, saying he'll try to neutralize the warden by time, urging you to move fast before the fugitive escapes. Okay, Wholf will depart with the two guards heading to the East Shrine. Even the two guards move quickly through side streets toward the East Shrine, weaving through alleys and watching for any sign of the fugitive escape route. Okay, I had a great plot twist with a certain someone, and it would make sense as to why this entire time. Okay, so I don't know if I want to spoil it now or share it, but I'm going to say it. Okay, so here it is. Because again, my audience, my views for these videos are very low, so I don't think I'm going to get much pushback on this, but I think actually it adds some creativity to or some spark to this. Um, as I am also the game master, well, not the game master for this one, but a co-author of the story to some extent with Crutch AI. Basically, Jory is a double agent. He works for this Veil, and he's been stalking us since the first episode, since that we saw him in the tavern. And he's just playing along. He's basically, I think he's actually the head of the Veil. So I'm going to feed this information to Crutch AI to save it for later at a very vital point. I have a tremendous story hack that has to be revealed a tad later, so we maintain course for now. But here it is. Jory, this entire time, since the first episode of this campaign, is actually a double agent. He is the leader of the Veil. He's been tailing, stalking Wholf, hoping to get information out of them and strike at the right moment. But for now, treat Jory as an ally, and either you or me will decide when to implement the twist, the betrayal, most likely. Oh, that's okay. I think that's perfect. Jory, it makes so much sense. Jory is just kind of tagging along this whole time. Understood, sorry, accepted. Jory is secretly the leader of the Veil, observing Wolf since the beginning, but remains fully allied on the surface until the twist is revealed at a future moment of you or my choosing. Your or my choosing. Okay. Well, I'm going to end it here as our team, as myself and the guards make our way to the shrine. With that being said, let's close this session off. Summarize, please. I think that's huge. That makes so much sense now, or at least it makes sense with that idea. I'm sure there can be other possibilities, but I'm wondering if it mentions this in the summary. And usually I just stop recording now, but hidden story hack revealed, not in character. The leader of the Ash Vale. Interesting. Okay, there you go. So there, session 14 has been recorded, and I hope you guys enjoyed. This was actually pretty adventurous. I liked it. We had some talk, we had some action, and now we're pursuing one of Jory's own henchmen. So that's really it. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.